First off, I start off with a piece of cloth, anything that contrasts against the lace in my wig so that you can be able to see the grids in the lace a little bit more clearer. So this is just a piece of cloth cut from, I'd say roughly a yard of fabric that I had bought from Walmart. And I went ahead and took some little push pins and I just pushed them down all around the perimeter of the cloth. So up here, because this is a round circumference, it's not going to lay entirely flat. So I just took little folds up here and folded over flaps of cloth so that I can get them to pin down flat against the curve of the mannequin head so that I can go ahead and fit my lace over this, to which we're going to do in a few minutes. So like I said, this is just to cover the area underneath the lace so that I'll be able to see the lace more visibly as I'm ventilating the hair into the wig. The wig I'm going to use today happens to be a 24-inch wig that I had made over a year ago. It's still in good condition and it is sewn onto a cap, as you can see. And it has a closure in the inside of it, like right there. And it has shed a little bit. The way you can tell is by looking in certain areas of the wig where it's really sparse at. And in this case, there are a couple of patches in this area to where there's like sparse hair right there. You'll be able to see it better once I put it on the mannequin head over this cloth. And we're going to go ahead and just demonstrate to you how I ventilate hair into my lace wigs when they start thinning, balding, or shedding. And that way you'll be able to get an idea of how I do it. And it saves me a lot of money too, so I don't have to go ahead and throw away or scrap a whole lace frontal or a lace closure because the hair has shed inside of the lace, like out of the lace. So I'm going to go ahead and fit this over the mannequin head. And I'll be able to get it over that cloth. Pull the sides down so I can get a good snug fit. And as you can see, the grids show up a little bit better because the lace has something to contrast up against. In this case, my mannequin head is, textured. It has like florals on it, so it would be hard to kind of see the grids on top of like all of that going on because it's so busy. And then you have like the light background. So this helps you to just see it a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and part off a section so that I can show you how I replace hair back into my thinning or balding frontals or closures. Okay, now I've zoomed in so that you can get a little bit more clarity, I guess you can say, so that you can see the front of the wig. And as you can see, it does have some patchy areas, like right along the hairline and spots up in here that I can ventilate. So it's not going to be a great detailed description or, demo of what it is that I'm doing. I just want to give you an idea of how I ventilate my hair into my wigs. And we can start with a small section. And since this is the most obvious area, we're going to start up in here because it has suffered a little bit of shedding in the past 6 months or so. And in some cases, you can still see some of the knots from some of the hairs that have broken off into the wig, but you can always bleach those knots after you're done. So we're just gonna, go in this particular area right here, and I'm gonna show you how I demonstrate ventilating my wigs in order to make them full again. Usually after I finish a wig, if I don't use all of the hair when I install a lace wig, some of the hair will be left over. If I can't put any more hair into the wig, I just usually save that remaining hair for things such as this. So what I do is I usually like to take that hair off of the wefts. I usually cut that hair off of the wefts. And this is some hair that I have right here that I've taken off of, I'd say a quarter of a weft of hair that I had left after I made this wig. So let me see, I have to zoom out so you guys can see a little bit better because it's real close up. This is just some loose hair that I cut off the weft of this same hair that I can use to ventilate with. And this is 24 inches. And we're going to use a little of this in order to ventilate this section of hair right here. I usually take a cup of water. Get into the frame here. And I just put it in this little mug right here, and it's filled with water. And I usually like to wet the hair, like dip the loose hair into the water so that it can make it a little bit more pliable, or a little bit better for me to manage the hair wet as opposed to dry when I ventilate the hairs into the wig, because when you ventilate dry, you don't have that much control over the hair, and you get flyaways and things of that nature. So at least if it's wet, you can control the hair a little bit better between your fingers as you ventilate. So we're just going to use this little hair to ventilate with. I'm not going to have this whole section of hair in my hands. I usually just take a small portion of the hair, like say maybe a little bit of hair like this, and separate it away from the rest of the weft of hair. And we're just going to start off with this little tiny section right here. So I'm going to take my cup of water, and I'm just going to basically dip the top of the hair. And that's usually all I do. Just dip the top of the hair, because this is the part of the hair, or the portion of hair, that I need to control so that I can ventilate the hair properly into the unit, and just wet it. Not sopping wet. So we're just going to go ahead and press some of that water out of the weft, but just enough to coat the hair so that we can gain better control over the ends, so that it's like this, wet as opposed to dry. And like I said, the whole length of hair doesn't need to be wet, just the part that I want to ventilate, which will be towards the top where we cut the weft of the hair. So we're going to get started wefting the hair. I'm using a German needle, and this is the type of hook that is used professionally by hair ventilation experts in the field. And if you look closely towards the tip, you can see it has a little hook right there on the end. That's where you're going to catch the hair at and pull it through the lace in order to ventilate and loop the hair and make your knots. So this particular ventilation needle comes in two parts. This part up here at the top unscrews. Therefore, you can put your needle in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back in and screw it down to secure it firmly in place. And in my case, I got this one from eBay, as well as the German needle, the curved hook, separately. I can leave a link down in the product description box below so that you'll know where to get this from. So we're going to go ahead and get started so that I can show you how I ventilate my hair into my weft. So what you do is you're going to take the hair that you wet on the end, and you're going to take it, excuse my finger, I broke my thumbnail earlier, so I'm going to fix that a little bit later. You're going to take the hair between your index and your thumb, and you're just going to take the top portion, and you're going to go ahead and make it into a loop like this, and you're going to catch it between your fingers like that, so that you have a loop of hair that looks like this between your thumb and forefinger. Okay, and then you'll be able to grab the hair with the German hook through the underside of the weft, and you'll be able to pull it out and loop it so that you can make your knot. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and go into this area. And 9 times out of 10, I usually like to wet the hair down on the weft so that I can gain better control over the section that I'm going to ventilate to, so that you won't have any flyaways, and you'll be able to see your section or your area better that you're going to ventilate. So I'm going to go ahead and wet the hair down after this. Now I'm going to take a water bottle, just a regular water bottle, and we're going to wet the hair towards the top of the section that we want to ventilate. And I'm just going to saturate the hair in that section so that I can gain better control over that area and just get it, I wouldn't say sloppy wet, but just get it damp. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rat tooth comb and comb through the hair. because I like to gain control over the area that I'm ventilating or working in. So it's just best to do this when the hair is wet. So now that we have the hair pretty much damp, we're going to go ahead and ventilate. So we're going to take the hair between our fingers. And what I usually like to do is just roll the hair between my fingers like this, because it kind of separates the hair fibers so that you can, you know, get an idea of hairs that you're going to grab. The general rule of thumb is when you're ventilating in the frontal area, which is near the hairline, or even in the top part of your head towards your front hairline, you usually want to knot these in a single knots so that they're not so big. And I'm going to demonstrate a double knot for you also, which I like to do towards the front. And if you do double knots, because the knots are bigger, you're going to have to pretty much bleach them so that they're not that visible. So we're just going to go into this area. And as you can see, there's a little sparse area right there. I'm going to take the needle up underneath a lace section, like right there. And it's best to do it from the side, because that little German hook on the end of that is a little stinker, and it will get caught up with other things, so you have to be careful. And because I've rolled this between my fingers, I've separated a couple of hairs right there, so that way I'll be able to catch one hair on the end of that hook. You're going to bring it up underneath the lace, and like I said, you have to be careful because that little hook can get you right there. And you're going to catch that hair. You're creating tension, so you're going to go up under, you're going to slip it up underneath the lace like this, and then you're going to grab the hair shaft, twist it, bring it through that loop that you just created, and then you're going to pull it through. Simple. That hair, bring it up underneath the lace, and as you can see, I've grabbed it, and I'm going to grab that strand from my hand, twist it, bring it through the loop that I just created, and I'm going to pull it through, and there's your strand right there. I hope you guys can see that. I'm going to demonstrate it one more time. Go up underneath the lace, grab a single strand of hair, bring it up underneath the lace, pull it through, grab this hair onto the hook, twist it, pull it through the little loop that we just created, and then pull it through. And there's your strand of hair right there that I just created. Now to do a double loop method, we are going to, it's getting in the way, do the same method, only we're going to double knot it twice. So I'm going to show you how that's done, making sure I don't grab the cloth. Then I'm going to hook a strand of hair. Maybe I need to do it bigger so you guys can see it. So there's the hook right there grabbing the hair. I'm going to pull it through. If I can get it through. I done grabbed. Okay, there it is. And then I'm going to pull it through. Then I'm going to knot the hair once. And then go back around, grab the hair, oops, grab the hair and wrap it around and loop it again and pull it through the loop. And that way it's double knotted. And what that usually does is create a larger knot. This is the hair that I just knotted right there. So that's just double knotting twice in order to ensure that you get a good knot on that particular ventilation of the hair. But usually it forms a bigger knot when it's double knotted twice, so then you would definitely have to bleach the knot. With due time, you do pick up speed, so it makes it that less painless for you to do. But I find this to be very convenient for me because it also saves me the expense of going and just buying brand new frontals or closures to replace my units whenever they thin or shed like this. So I hope this was helpful to you guys and you learned something from this. And if you like it, you know, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will check in with you guys later. Bye.